Hi, welcome to Pat Talks Law. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. Today we're going to talk about Miranda and your right to remain silent. You should use it. I've had a number of people that have come into my office lately and they've said that, look, the police arrested me, but they never read me my rights, so we can beat this case, right? And the answer is no. They don't have to read you your rights unless they're asking you guilt-seeking questions. They don't have to read you your rights unless they are asking guilt-seeking questions. Those are questions that would tend to incriminate you if you answer them. They don't have to read you your rights to ask you your name, to ask you your biological information, how old you are when they're booking you at the station. Again, those aren't guilt-seeking questions. They're going to be able to ask you those in-processing questions. Now, if they ask you, where did you hide the weed? That's a guilt-seeking question. Don't answer it. If they ask you, how the body got in your trunk, don't answer it. Just say, I want my lawyer. If they're asking you questions like that, you're going to jail anyway. So don't answer the question. If a police officer says to you, look, if you talk to me, I can help you out, he's lying. Don't answer the question. Let's talk about what the Miranda warning is. First, the Miranda warning is very specific. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Do you understand the rights I've just read to you? With these rights in mind, do you wish to speak with me? It's very important, and it has to be word for word. You do not have to speak to the police. You do not have to answer their questions. If an officer has Mirandized you, if they've given you the Miranda warning, and you talk to them, you are probably going to go to jail. If you don't talk to them, you are probably going to go to jail. I have on all my business cards, do not answer questions without my attorney. Don't do it. You have the right to remain silent. Use it. Now, for those of you that don't know, the facts behind Miranda warning are pretty interesting. Miranda actually goes back to Miranda v. Arizona, and Miranda was arrested at his home and taken into custody and brought to a police station. He was there identified by the complaining witness in this offense. 2 police officers interrogated him for 2 hours, and they had him sign a confession. Now, when that was presented to the jury, the oral and the written confession, he was found guilty. Subsequently, he appealed. He was found guilty of kidnapping and rape. It was a bad case. But he appealed, and the Supreme Court held that his constitutional rights were violated in obtaining that confession. Now, false confessions are a huge problem in the legal field. We have massive amounts of trouble with that.
Not now. He's confessed. He confessed to me. He confessed.
Police have moved on from basic interrogations that they did back in Miranda days. Now they use the Reed method where they feed you some facts, and then when you repeat those facts, they say you're admitting guilt. It's really, really kind of bad. We also have the Missouri two-step in Missouri where they will interrogate you, Mirandize you, then ask you the same questions again. The court here has found that illegal, but doesn't stop law enforcement from doing it. Your defense attorney has to catch it and put a stop to it. When you're read your rights, it's very important to understand. Stop talking. Ask for an attorney.
I want my lawyer now.
I want a lawyer right now.
And we've had some bad case law on this. The Supreme Court has held that your silence, you're actually exercising your right to remain silent, can be used against you. Completely inappropriate. The Supreme Court is wrong. We'll get into that. That's a story for another day. They don't always get it right. So ultimately, this is part of the broader issue. Do you have to talk to the police? And the answer is no. Again, with some limited exceptions. Let's talk about those exceptions are. If you're driving a car and a police officer asks you for your license and registration, or your license and insurance, depending on what state you're in, you're going to have to provide it. Anytime you're driving a vehicle and you're asked for your license, registration, or proof of insurance, you're going to have to provide that. Now, if a police officer comes up to you on the street and says, hey, I want to talk to you, you can ask them, are you detaining me or am I free to go? That's another great thing to remember. Are you detaining me or am I free to go? If the officer says they're detaining you, you immediately ask for a lawyer.
I want my lawyer now.
If the officer says you're free to go, disconnect the contact. They very rarely do that. They usually open with another question.
Am I being detained?
Not being.
Your response is, are you detaining me or am I free to go?
Am I free to go?
Officer, if you're not going to answer that question, you're not going to tell me if you're detaining me or if I'm free to go, I'm going to assume that I'm free to go and start to walk off. If they're detaining you, they will let you know. So when it comes down to Miranda, very important, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney present when questioned. And this is critical because when a police officer is questioning you, if that's not on tape, it's his word against your word. When the police officer comes in and says, I gave him his Miranda warning, and then he confessed. That's going to carry a little bit of weight. The officer's going to say that you confessed. If there isn't an audio recording proving that, that's going to be a problem. Meanwhile, you're going to say, I never said that. I never said I did it. So never talk to the police. And a defense attorney that says, yeah, hey, we'll set up a meeting and talk to the police, go get a second opinion. A defense attorney that says, yeah, you should talk to the police, I'd question that. There are very, very, very rare times. I can't think of a situation where I would ever say yes. So when it comes down and you're talking about those Miranda rights, very, very important. When they say anything you say can and will be used against you, they mean that. They mean that completely. There are some great videos. I'm going to link to a couple. One is by a law school professor that did a fantastic Don't Talk to the Police video. It's 45 minutes long. I refer people to it all the time because I love it. But look at it like this. You could be approached by a police officer, yet you didn't do anything about it. They want to talk about a murder. And this, by the way, is one of the hypotheticals posed by this law professor who does a much better job than I'm about to. Police officer wants to talk to you about a murder. They found a body. They come and they talk to you and they say, well, did you know so-and-so? And you're like, yeah, I knew him. Never liked him. Why? Well, he was found dead. Oh, crap, man, that's terrible. The officer's like, well, where were you on the night of such and such? Well, I was over in, Westport, man. I don't know. Why? He was okay. That's fine. Well, lo and behold, you had forgotten when you talked to the officer that maybe you parked your car somewhere and you went with somebody else. You didn't tell him that. You didn't lie to him, but you didn't tell him that because you didn't know it was important. You didn't know it was important because you were talking to a police officer when you shouldn't have been. So they go back and they look and they see that your car got a parking ticket that night a mile away from where the guy was killed. Well, now you've gone from an innocent person talking to the police to very likely being charged with murder. Because, and the prosecutor is going to ask the police officer on the stand, so when you interviewed so-and-so, what did he tell you? Well, he told me he never liked the guy. Motive, you never liked the guy. You could have killed him. And do you say anything else? Yeah, he said he wasn't there that night. Did that surprise you or did you take any meaning from that? Yeah, I found it really curious because when I looked, I discovered that his car got a parking ticket that night, just a mile away. Motive and opportunity. Brother, get ready. You're putting on Prison Orange. Don't do it. Anyway, I'm going to refer to the law professor's video. It's phenomenal. It'll be in the description below. But the essence of that is clear. You have a right to remain silent. Use it. Please, God, use it. Use it from the start of the interaction. Police officers love to come up. They'll talk to you. Do you know why I pulled you over? If you answer that question, you're going to get the ticket for what you said. Because I was speeding? Yes, because you were speeding. That's why I pulled you over. You've just admitted guilt. You're getting a ticket. Because I ran that red light? Hell, the officer may not even seen you at that red light. but you're getting a ticket for that red light because you just admitted it. And don't be a smartass. Being a smartass with the cops is a sure way to get arrested for contempt of cop. It's not actually a crime, but they'll find something, and you're gonna get your ride. Police officer, a friend of mine. I went to high school with him. If he's watching, he was a hell of a swimmer back in the day. I was on the diving team. I was a pretty crappy swimmer, but we didn't have a big team, so I swam. He'd say, look, you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. You can be right. You can still go down. You can still be fingerprinted. You can still go to NISIS. You can still wind up in the databases. You can beat the charge, but you're going to jail that night if you're too much of a smartass with the cops. Don't admit guilt to anything. Don't answer any questions. Be polite. Be courteous. And please, for the love of God, remember, anything you say can and will be used against you. That camera the police officer's wearing, they're going to keep that video and they're going to use it.